Killing that monster didn't just save Lucheng's lives, it rewrote his entire reality. As the creature body dissolved, something violent burst inside his mind. Broken memories, sharp alien crashed into him like a storm. It wasn't seeing images, it was living them. A high-tech military base, orders shouted across steel corridors, soldiers preparing for war humanity was already losing. Then, a black fog swallowing everything, scream echoing through collapsing cities. Things moving in darkness that had no names. Lucheng clutched his head, stumbling. Neon blue light flickering across his vision. Something inside of him was changing. Not slowly, not gently, but forcible. This wasn't just a monster, it was a fragment of something that once lived, a broken memory of a fallen world, and then the air shifted again. Another presence emerged from the darkness, faster, heavier, and closer. A second creature burst forward, a routine human and shell, driven by instinct alone. Its eyes glowing with empty hunger, but this time, Lucheng didn't hesitate. Something inside of him moved before thought. Muscles, instincts, memory that wasn't easy, his body shifted. Perfect timing, perfect angle, perfect execution, it struck. A burst of golden force exploded on impact. The creature didn't fall, it vanished, erased completely. Silence returned. But it didn't feel peaceful. The one around him was breaking. The dark landscape rippled like glass under pressure. Fragment of space flickered in and out of existence, and Lucheng realized something terrifying. The memories inside him were becoming clearer than his own life. It wasn't just changing, it wasn't just being rewritten. And then he heard it from deep within the fog. Something moved, and this thing was not like others. As the creature falls, something impossible begins to happen. Whips of dark, ethereal energy rise from the corpse, swirling through the air like ink dissolving into water. Lucheng freezed as the smoke surged forward, sinking directly into his skin. Heat flooded his veins, no warmth but raw primal force, as if something inside him is being rebuilt from the inside out. Then the static hits, his vision fractures, memories don't belong to him erupt in violent flashes. Lives he never lived, battle he never fought, experience burned into his mind in a single agonizing surge. For a moment he sees it clearly, not just the monster death, but his life, its fear, its final thought. He realized it instantly. He didn't just kill it, he absorbed it, and that changes everything. If even a weak creature can grant this much power, what about the ones deeper in the fog? The thought is dangerous, addictive, but the nightmare doesn't give him time to dwell. A distorted sequence burns itself into his mind. Military base 1359, not a memory, a warning, a final instruction. Spark apocalypse, protect with your life. The words echoes inside his chest like a seal being pressed into place. Lucheng lowered his gaze and his trembling hands. Power is there now, foreign, unstable and immense. He finally understands the rule of this world. Consume or be consumed. You learn or you die. You hit or you are eaten. But before he can move, the ground lets out a low, branching ground. The sky begins to tear apart like a bond paper. A blind white fractures open above the wasteland. The dream isn't ending gently. Something is forcing him out and is far more violent than anything he has killed. The world around him shattered like glass, the sky, the ground, and very air he breathed. Everything collapsed in a violent, jagged fracture. Lucheng closed his head. Pressure building behind his eyes, like a skull might split open. Then impact. He slammed under the hard floor of his room. Fingers scraping against the carpet as his lungs struck in a desperate air. He was back. The silence of the bedroom felt unnatural after the chaos of the dream world. For a moment it didn't move. Did I actually wake up, or is this just another layer of it? A sharp, aggressive knock shattered the stillness. Lucheng, get out of here right now! Looking his younger sister, her voice carried irritation, sharp and familiar. Something painfully numb. He exhaled slowly, forcing himself up. His legs felt heavy, like they didn't fully belong to him yet. When he opened the door, the hallway light hit him like a physical blow. Liu Kun stood there with her arm crossed, already wearing the classic expression of assembling judgment. She assumed he had been slacking off again, sleeping instead of training. Liu Cheng gave a tired, awkward smile, rubbing the back of his neck. "Sorry, I just fell asleep for a bit," he muttered. He tried to sound like the same version of himself she always knew, but he wasn't. Then her expression shifted. The irritation didn't fade, it froze. Her eyes locked onto him. Not his face, but his body. The thin shirt wool was soaked with sweat, clinging tightly to the frame that shouldn't have existed. Underneath, the shape of his muscles were unmistakably dense, defined, almost unreal. He hadn't just woken up differently, he had changed physically. Right in front of her, and Queen wasn't the only one starting to notice that Liu Cheng was no longer the person they thought he was. Watching his sister walk away, Liu Cheng felt an evil pang of nostalgia. He remembered when she used to follow him everywhere, clinging to his sleeve like it was the center of her world. But those days were gone. The moment she entered the academy and recorded a combat strength of over 100, everything changed. In this world, power was the only currency that mattered. She became the genius, and he became the useless older brother living in the shadows. Liu Cheng exhaled slowly and turned back inside. As he pulled off his shirt to wash up, his reflection in the mirror made him freeze. That scrawny, exotic boy from yesterday was gone. In his place stood a body carved from stone, muscle sharply defined, carrying a raw, almost pituitary strength. It wasn't just a new body, it felt unreal. And the strangest part, he wasn't tired, it felt electric, like a live wire wanting to snap. Closing his eyes, he focused onward. The memories of the zombies didn't feel like a dream. They were still there, crystal clear. He could feel the movement, the instinct, the combat techniques flowing through his body like they had always belonged to him. He didn't just remember them. It seems like an inheritance for him. The realization struck hard. If he could bring the strength and skills of that nightmare into reality, then the rules of his life had already changed. But he forced himself to stay calm. At the dining table, the atmosphere was quiet, heavy with routine silence. His friends were there. His sister sat across from him, distant and thoughtful. Everything looked normal, but Liu Cheng wasn't. As he ate, an unnatural hunger took over. He began devouring food faster than he could think. Every bite felt like a fall thrown into a furnace that had finally ignited. He was eating enough for 3 people, and he still couldn't stop. His family watched in stone silence, but he barely noticed, because he already understood. While everyone else slept, he evolved. But then, as he reached for another bowl, his hand froze mid-air. A sharp thought pierced through his mind. If Train could be brought back from the dream, what else had followed him into the walking world? Now Liu Cheng, as the man that he is, have gotten the ability to upgrade the fight and the dreams, and got power-ups. So if you want to know more, or if you want to listen more to this recap, please press your notification button, subscribe, comment, like and share. Thank you. I'll be with you.